Welcome back, guys, to our spring cleaning on AJ's grandpa's van. So you guys saw the last episode. We gave it a nice deep clean from the outside. We deep cleaned the wheels and we gave it a nice wash to pretty much complete the look of the van and just pretty much get it looking as good as new. Now we're gonna tackle the interior. Now, as opposed to the exterior, the interior is not on our side. The interior is pretty filthy. So that's exactly what we're gonna be doing on today's video. We're gonna be doing a deep A to Z intense deep clean for this interior to get it looking as good as new, because as you guys will see in just a couple seconds, you'll see just how filthy it is. So stay tuned, you don't want to miss out. All right, guys, so pretty much to begin the process on this interior, especially since it's not my car, the first thing that I would like to do is take out all the owner's belongings. So I grabbed the Chemical Guys, doesn't have to be a Chemical Guys bag, just get an ordinary bag and just gather all the owner's belongings. That way that stuff is not coming into your way. Whenever you're trying to deep clean a cup holder, the last thing you want to worry about is having someone's change in there or having someone's belongings in there. So, make sure to put all their stuff away conveniently. I usually put it in the trunk, nice and, away from the areas that I'm going to be cleaning. So now that stuff is all out the way, the next thing that I like to do is pretty much remove everything as far as like the floor mats that is going to require us to clean. So in this case, the owner does have these rubber floor mats along with original carpet floor mats, along with original carpet underneath all that as well. So in this case, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the floor mats from the car and do my best to pretty much keep everything on the floor mat, because as you guys can see, the floor mat has a lot of little leaves, dust, dirt, grime, whatever you wanna call it. All that stuff is on there. The last thing I wanna do is pretty much just go like that in the car and have everything in there. So I'm gonna get all these floor mats outside of the car, that way that I have less things to clean on the inside. All right, so now that those floor mats are out of the way, now we can take a look at the interior and figure out what exactly we have to get done. So right off the bat, I know we're gonna need some vacuum. So we're gonna have to vacuum all this debris that's on the carpet. And then we're gonna have to move on to the actual carpets themselves and give them a nice deep clean, because in some sections you do have like some stains over here. I don't know exactly what that is from, but I am wearing gloves for that reason, because I don't know exactly what kind of stuff or what kind of filth that's going on in this van. So just make sure you're taking care of yourself. Wear some gloves, wear a mask, whatever it is that you gotta do. The other thing that I have to pay attention to is that this van does have leather. If you do check out this leather, one thing I do want to point out is that I can definitely tell that this leather is extremely dirty, because look, just check out this little section here. See how that little sliver of the leather is clean, whereas this right here is a little bit darker? That's just a pretty much clear indication that this has embedded grime and body oils that we're definitely gonna have to clean up with a dedicated leather cleaner. So that's another thing that we're gonna be paying attention to, as well as the fabrics. And then the other thing that we want to pay attention to is the hard plastics as well. So if you guys will see right here, from entering and exiting the car, you'll see that you have a lot of dirt and grime that collects along these plastic areas, if you will, that you step on. So it has a lot of dirt, grime, embedded stuff that we want to deep clean as well. So, I mean, as you guys can see, this interior requires a full, thorough kind of assessment to kind of pretty much figure out what exactly you need to do and in what order is going to be the best for this car. So I'm going to start off in the front of the car and pretty much work my way towards the back. So towards the front of the car, you'll see that the dashboard, it isn't so bad. It's mainly lightly dusty, but in the cup holders, the shift knob and all that stuff, you'll see that it has a lot of dirt and grime as well that's collected on there. So that's another thing that we want to deep clean. So, we'll definitely tackle that with some nonsense and a boar's hair brush to ensure that we get all that dirt and grime from out of that area so that we have the deep clean possible. And then as well as all the leather surfaces, those are all going to require a step scenario. So just kind of like how you wash your car from top to bottom, we're going to clean the interior from top to bottom. So I'm going to grab some products and be right back with you guys to start off in the front. All right, guys, so now that we're in the front seat, the first thing that I'm going to tackle is the light layer of dust that's pretty much covering all these panels. Now, before I get into my deep cleaning, I just want to kind of minimize the amount of contaminants that I have in the way, because I just want to make sure that I have all this dust, all this fine debris that I can remove just with the simple spray and wipe solution quickly and easily. So the product that I'm going to be using today is going to be Total Interior. Now, the reason I'm starting off with Total Interior first is because this is a great maintenance cleaner. If you guys check out this front area right here, you'll see that a lot of the stuff right here is mainly just dust, debris, maybe like some, you know, light food stains, and you know, that's exactly why we have Total Interior. Now, Total Interior is a perfect maintenance cleaner to easily tackle all types of things like this, but this is great just to pretty much knock off your, you know, your daily things. You know, if you like driving around with the windows down, you're gonna get a lot of dust, so this is a great product to have in your car to just pretty much minimize that, clean your interior surfaces, and also layer it with some protection. For best usage, I would highly recommend you spray directly onto your microfiber towel and simply wipe down your surfaces, and that's pretty much reduces the amount of overspray that you're gonna get. And right away, you'll see that Total Interior does an amazing job of pretty much picking up all this dirt, dust, and pretty much stuff that's laying on top of the dashboard. Like I said, we're not really gonna go crazy as far as like cleaning on this top dashboard, just because, you know, this dashboard doesn't really necessarily get too much traffic. It's mainly just dust that sits on the surface and the UV rays that beats on it. So Total Interior is a great, just simple cleaner to pretty much remove this light layer of dust and also give this dashboard a layer of UV protection. And one of the great things about Total Interior is that you can actually use it on a variety of interior surfaces. Now, you can use Total Interior on things like hard plastics, vinyl, leather, navigation screens, and that's all great and all. However, I will explain a little bit more further in the video why you still want to use a dedicated leather cleaner and, you know, other dedicated products for cleaning as opposed to using Total Interior. But Total Interior, like I mentioned, it's a great all-around cleaner. I love it. I keep it in my truck at all times and I use it all the time. So you can use it to pretty much remove any kind of dust and debris that's sitting over here. So you'll see that there's a lot of dust on these smooth glossy plastics, and Total Interior works out amazing for cleaning this stuff up. So you guys will see right now, it cleans them up nicely. You know, if you do find yourself having like more aggressive grime right here, I would highly recommend just giving it a light little spritz, a little bit more of a spritz, sorry. And then you can pretty much wipe down those surfaces and remove the embedded grime that's sitting there and restore the original look of your interior surfaces just like that, quickly and easily, and you also have a layer of UV protection. So that's what I'm gonna do right now, just to wipe out any kind of light dust and debris and pretty much get a lot of this stuff out the way. Now, whenever you're working in intricate areas such as your steering wheel, you know, nowadays these newer cars, they have all these fancy gadgets on the steering wheel, such as like your volume control, your cruise control, and all that stuff. And you'll see that a lot of dust tends to kind of stick in there. Now, one of the easiest ways to knock it off easily is pretty much grabbing yourself a boar's hair bristle brush, which, as you guys can see, it's nice, it's soft, it's flexible for your interior surfaces. So you can use it to pretty much knock off any kind of dust and debris that's in these tight crevices quickly, easily, and without you having to do any kind of, you know, tedious kind of cleaning with the microfiber towel. You know, having the proper tools for interior cleaning is crucial in order to have the smoothest experience possible. So that's why I usually have dedicated boar's hair brushes for the interior and the exterior of my vehicle. You know, I have one for my wheels, I have one for my engine bay, I have one for interior cleaning, and also have another one that I use for whenever I use it with an all-purpose cleaner, such as Nonsense. So, you know, it's not that, you know, one brush isn't enough, but you know, it's great to have different brushes for different purposes just to kind of, you know, prevent cross-contamination. Now in this case, I'm using it just to dust, and as you guys can see, it works out amazing. I get all the dust from out these kind of cracks, crevices. You know, I can also use it on these areas that I don't necessarily always pay attention to, or most people don't pay attention to, and as well as over here. Like, check this out. I already wiped this area down with the Total Interior, but you'll see right now that as I'm wiping it with the brush, see all that collection of all that dust and debris that's coming out of this crack? That's great because that's giving us a nice deep clean and ensuring us that as soon as we drive away with the windows down, you know, the wind that enters into this car is not just gonna pretty much pull this out and, you know, kind of make it look like we didn't clean our interior at all. So boar's hair brush, you can use it dry or wet, however you like, and pretty much get the all around best clean. All right guys, so next thing that's on the list is these hard plastics, such as these door panels. We also have a combination of some leather material right here as well. So we are gonna dedicate some cleaning for that as well. But you guys saw that the Total Interior did an amazing job at pretty much knocking off a lot of that loose dirt and debris. As you guys can see, the dashboard looks pretty great to me. I don't think we really have to go much into detail as far as any furthermore cleaning, besides maybe applying some protection on there, some more protection actually. So right now I'm going to focus on this door panel. So the product that I'm going to be using is going to be our non-tint invisible super cleaner. Now if you guys haven't used non-tint, you guys are missing out. You guys need to go to our website or a detail garage near you, pick this stuff up, because this thing is awesome. And the reason it's awesome is because it's an all-purpose cleaner, which means that it works on virtually all surfaces inside and outside your car. So in this case, I'm going to be using it as is. You can dilute it to a 20:1 ratio for general purpose cleaning or 8:1 for heavy duty cleaning. The way I like to utilize it is spraying directly onto my brush, and I spray a light spritz onto the surface that I'm going to be using it on. In this case, I'm pretty much going to be using it on all these like surfaces right here. And I'm going to grab my brush and I'm going to begin to agitate the surface. Now I'm using a different brush as opposed to the boar's hair brush that I was using previously, because this is my cleaning brush, and this is what I was talking to you guys about, having separate brushes for separate occasions. Now this is my all in the details brush set. Now we have this set that pretty much comes in 3 different sizes. And the reason we're using a brush like this to scrub these areas is because, as you guys can see, this area is not smooth. It's actually kind of textured. So having a brush like this helps you get into the crevices nice and deep so that you get all the dirt and grime from out these crevices and have the best clean possible. Now, once you do a little section, what I like to do is grab myself a towel and pretty much buff off the excess. Now, I know a lot of times you look at these areas and we think, hey, you know, that's not even dirty. It's gray, you know, who cares? That's exactly why you should care. Just because, you know, this area may not be something that you touch so much. Actually, it is one of those areas that you touch a lot, because, you know, if you like riding around with the windows down, usually have your arm kind of, you know, on here. All your body oils are pretty much collecting on there. And as you guys can see, it doesn't look shiny anymore. It actually has more of a flat look, which means that it's clean. Now, the reason why it's clean is because any kind of oils that are on there, non-tint is going to remove. So whether it be oils from a dressing, a previous dressing, or oils from your body, it's going to remove it to leave you with a completely bare surface. That way you can apply a dressing, get it nice and conditioned, get a nice even coat, kind of like when you wash your car, you clay it. You know, this is a great way to pretty much decontaminate your interior surfaces prior to applying a dressing, or in your exterior wise, it would be a wax. So non-tint works out great. I'm going to get a little bit more into my brush here, spray a little bit more onto this little white area that I'm going to be cleaning, and I want to show you guys a little 50-50 action of what this really does for your interior. Now I'm not going to put a tape line. I'm just going to see if we can kind of get like a natural kind of 50-50 look right here and see the difference between what a clean side looks like versus a dirty side. So I'll leave it there. I'll grab my towel here and I'll pretty much just buff off the excess right here. I don't know if you guys can really tell on camera, there's a pretty hard line as far as like right here where you see kind of like the cleanliness of this side versus the darkness of this side. Now, it's not dark for a reason. That's actually a lot of the dirt and grime and body oils that collect on your interior door panels. So without me even having to put a tape line on there, you'll see that there's a pretty big differentiation of what a clean interior should look like versus what your dirty interior looks like now. So one of the most satisfying things is using a cleaner like this, cleaning these lighter colors thinking that they're not dirty, and boom, they turn out to be very dirty. So that's extremely, you know, satisfying to look at. And you guys can see very clearly that non-tint and the brush did an amazing job at getting out all this grime. So all that there's left to do is pretty much clean the rest of the hard interior surfaces. Now I'm going to be using it on the door panels. I am going to be using it on sections like this where you step on right here, all these hard plastics all around the car, you know, whether it be in the front, whether it be in the back. I mean, check this out right here. You guys see a bunch of dirt and grime on these areas. This is all going to be removed with non-tint. So that's the combination that I'm choosing in order to clean this car, because like I mentioned, there's a ton of areas, a bunch of different surfaces that we need to pay attention to in order to give this interior the deepest clean possible. So one thing I did run across too when I was cleaning these lower areas is that they have still a ton of dirt and grime that's on there. So one thing that I would recommend doing frequently, especially when you're going around your vehicle, is grabbing your brush and pretty much cleaning it off with your towel. Now all you gotta do is pretty much have a towel with you on hand. Check that out, guys. That's really bad, we don't want that staying on our brush as we're cleaning the rest of our interior surfaces. So that's why it's always great to pretty much check the bristles of your brush every now and then, just to ensure that there's nothing on there that potentially can scratch up your interior surfaces. So make sure that every now and then, make it a habit of pretty much wiping down your brush to ensure that there's no contaminants that could potentially ruin your ride. All right guys, so now that we're pretty much done deep cleaning, you know, pretty much the majority of the vehicle as far as like the door panels, the dashboard and stuff like that, now we can proceed with cleaning the leather. Now check this out, how cool is this 50/50? Now I did a little test spot right here just to kind of see what kind of results we can get with these cleaners. Now we do carry a line of leather products. Now we do have products like sprayable leather. We have products like, you know, Leather Quick Detailer, which both are amazing products. However, whenever you're cleaning leather that is as filthy as this, then you want to have some leather cleaner on your side. Now, the reason why you don't want to go with the other two in this scenario is because the other two work out great for light grime, light messes. You know, whenever you're faced with heavy cleaning, then leather cleaner, horsehair brush, that's where it's at. So I'm gonna show you guys how to use it right now on this other half of this little 50/50 that we've done on this center console. Now, what I like to do here is I grab some leather cleaner, I spray directly onto a horsehair bristle brush. Now I'm using this material because this material works out extremely well. You know, leather is texturized, so you want to make sure that just like how we use a textured brush for the door panels, we want to make sure we're using a textured brush to clean the crevices and the texture of the leather. So with that being said, my brush is ready to go. Now all I have to do is pretty much spray a light amount of product onto the surface. Not gonna go crazy, just gonna do like, you know, 4 sprays, and I'm pretty much just gonna start agitating. Now right away, I want you guys to pay attention to how it pretty much erases all the dirt and grime. Now, whenever you're working the brush, you wanna kind of work it a little bit thoroughly. You wanna make sure that you're getting it in all angles. And what I mean by that is, you know, you don't wanna just go left and right. You can, however, you know, it works out best to do it in a circular motion, even though most times we tell you not to do a circular motion, you know, especially for the outside. In this case, it's completely fine. And this is actually gonna help us pretty much get all the dirt and grime from all angles of this textured material. So I'm just gonna kind of lean over a little bit just so I can clean this side as well. And same thing, I'm just gonna spray my brush. Not really gonna go crazy with the product. And just pretty much scrub this little center console area so that we get that nice deep clean. And you can always do this for the surrounding areas as well. I'm gonna make sure to get my side as well, just to ensure that, you know, all areas of the center console are clean and not just the top. Now, once you have that all nice and scrubbed down, grab yourself a workhorse towel and pretty much buff off the excess of the cleaner and reveal that nice clean leather. Now, as you guys can see, it looks amazing. No more 50/50. This is the original look of the leather without any kind of leather conditioner, any kind of oils taken away from the overall look. Now, in this point of the process, now that your leather is clean, you'll feel it feels a little bit not so slick. And that's for the reason that there are no oils on the surface of this leather, because we've completely rid the leather of any kind of oils, including the leather conditioner that may have been on there, including our own body oils. So now that the leather is completely bare, now we can apply a coat of conditioner to pretty much condition the leather, get it feeling nice and soft and supple and nice and slick, and restore the original look of the leather. Now, the reason I like to apply leather conditioner, like I mentioned, it, you know, restores the soft, supple feel of your leather. Now, working on a small area like this, you don't have to go crazy with it. I would recommend just maybe using like 2 drops of product. Now, one key thing that you want to do before you do this is ensure that your leather is completely dry. Now, you want to make sure that it's dry because you want the leather conditioner to bond and adhere directly to the leather itself. And if you have any kind of remaining residue of cleaner, you know, if you apply the conditioner on there, the cleaner is going to neutralize the conditioner and you may have like kind of like a blotchy application. So make sure that it's completely clean and completely dry before applying leather conditioner. And then once you have that, everything there from there on is pretty much easy. Grab the applicator, blot it onto the surface, and then simply work it in. And right away you see that it gives the leather kind of a little bit of rejuvenation. It gives it some life. It gives it a little bit of a shine factor to it. However, you know, it is gonna leave a dry to the touch finish. Now, what I like to do is, you guys saw that I only applied 2 drops. However, I'm still gonna buff off any remaining product on the surface. So what I like to do for that is, you can either have a separate workhorse towel just to buff off any excess, or just simply flip it to the dry side where you haven't applied conditioner, and then pretty much buff it off in that sense. So the dry side of this microfiber is going to pick up any excess product to ensure that we have a nice and completely dry to the touch finish. And just like that, you're done. You can feel your leather. You see that your fingers are not oily or anything like that. It has a nice smooth feel. And when you put your hand on it, you're not going to be slipping around. You know, it actually works out great so that you can have a nice, safe driving experience. All right, so now that we cleaned that center console, now it's time to clean up these seats. Now, these seats are leather as well. However, I'm going over it because there's a little bit of a different cleaning technique when it comes to cleaning these leather seats that have perforations. So as you guys can see, these leather seats are perforated, which means that they have these little ventilation holes. So in order to clean this, the first thing that you don't want to do is spray directly, because you don't want to get your product within those pores. What I would recommend to you instead is spray directly onto the surface of your brush and then begin to agitate the surface of the leather. And this is going to pretty much help you reduce the amount of product that gets stuck within all these holes on the leather. This way you maximize the best use of your cleaning product without it just kind of going to waste when it goes into those cracks. And just like that, we're just going to do our regular, routine as far as like scrubbing. Just going to spray my brush just a little bit more, just to get a little bit more cleaning power, and so that it foams up very nicely, so we get the nice deep rich lather. And then just make sure to get all these hard to reach areas as well, so that we get a nice little comparison of what a clean leather should look like versus the untreated side. So I'm going to grab my brown towel here and simply buff off the excess of the cleaner. Now right here on this little section, it's a little bit harder to see the 50-50 just because of the perforations that are in the leather, but you can definitely tell that the side that we cleaned is definitely much lighter and it has much of a nicer look to it as well. So you see a pretty big difference from here in person. I'm not exactly sure if it shows up as much on camera, but in person, not only can you see a color difference, but you can actually feel a difference as well. So right here it's nice and smooth because it's clean. On here it's a little bit sticky because of the body oils that are on the surface. And you also have a little sheen right here that kind of indicates that you have a lot of body oils, whereas this side doesn't have much at all because that's clean and it doesn't have any body oils at all. So now that we've established how to clean the leather and pretty much the easiest way to do it, now it's actually time for us to clean the rest of the leather. Now, AJ's grandpa's dad has third row seating and he has a ton of leather to clean. So we're going to spend a little bit of time giving it that deep clean, making sure that we apply leather conditioner following it afterwards to condition the leather and get it looking as good as new. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with you guys once we're done. Alrighty guys, so now we are faced with the floor mats. So we finished cleaning the leather, and before I vacuum the car, I just wanted to clean the floor mats. We'll proceed to doing the vacuum after this, but I just want to make sure that the floor mats are clean. That way, when we're done vacuuming, we can just pop in those floor mats and we're pretty much done. So right here, right in front of me, I have two different types of floor mats. Now, as you guys saw, this car did have these rubber floor mats, and it also had the fabric floor mats. As you guys can tell, the fabric ones aren't as dirty simply because they had these rubber floor mats on top of them. So usually when you have that kind of going on, it pretty much means that these floor mats are going to cover these floor mats from getting dirty. So there's two different cleaning as far as like, what we're going to be doing today on these two floor mats. It's going to be a little bit different method of cleaning and different products as well. So the first one's going to be our Matte Renew floor mat cleaner and protectant. So a product like this is specifically designed to clean your rubber floor mats and vinyl floor mats, clean them up, deep clean them, and restore the original look of the floor mat. Now these right here, they aren't so bad, so mainly it's just the cleaning portion of it. So to use this product, we recommend, rinsing it off first. So you can go ahead, pull it outside, give it a light little rinse, and then proceed with the cleaning process. So that's what I'm doing right now. Just gonna pull it outside real quick, give it a quick little rinse, and be right back. All right, so now that we've pretty much gave the floor mat a pre-rinse, now we can actually begin cleaning it. Now, same concept for pre-rinsing the floor mat. That was just to knock off the loose dirt, debris, and anything that was sitting on there that could have been knocked off with just the rinse. And it also helps with the lubrication aspect of the cleaning process. So Matte Renew, simply spray a coat of product onto the floor mat itself. And then I like to use a all the details exterior brush set. Now these are for exterior, however you can use them for interior surfaces as well. And I like to just use these brushes because they're a little bit flexible, which means that they're going to work out great, especially because these floor mats kind of have like a little bit of these rubber grooves, which is going to be a little bit difficult to get into with like a more, I guess, stiff kind of brush. So using a brush like this works out extremely well because you get to get that nice deep clean. You get all the grime and any kind of, you know, liquids that may have landed on them, clean them out and get that nice deep clean. So pretty straightforward process. You know, these floor mats, they aren't so bad. You know, if your floor mats happen to be worse, then you can also pair this kind of cleaning combination with the drill carpet brush, which, you know, obviously it sounds like it's just for carpets, but you can also use them on vinyl and rubber flooring, such as these floor mats as well. So I'm just pretty much doing this really quickly, really easily, and just making sure that I get all these contaminants from out of the surface. And then once I'm done cleaning this, you'll see that all I have left to do is pretty much give it another rinse, dry it up, and we are good to go. So once you're done rinsing off the floor mat, all you really have left to do is to dry it up. Now I can just go with the towel, dry it up nice and easily. You know, for best results, you can actually use a blower, which I probably should be doing, to dry these floor mats up. And another thing I was going to mention is that I also should have done this more so at the beginning of the process, because if you're ever doing a customer's car, let's say if you're a detailer or maybe even just yourself, you know, it's a wise thing to do this at the beginning, kind of just to have and give these floor mats time to air dry, because you do want to make sure that they dry up nicely. And you know, you shouldn't be saving these to the last step, because then you're gonna have to wait for them to dry, and it's gonna take a little bit more time to, I guess, deliver the car to the owner. Or in your case, if it's your own personal car, you know, it's probably gonna take you a little bit longer to get back onto the road and enjoy your freshly cleaned floor mats. Just gonna grab the blower real quick just to get all the remaining water out, and just do that really quickly using the Pro Blow. And just like that, we finished drying it up, and you guys can see the final result. And as you guys can see, it pretty much restored the original look of these floor mats. So if we were to compare them with the dirty ones, you guys can see that these are oily, they're greasy. You can definitely tell that these are much, I guess, lighter in the sense. So you can tell a huge difference as far as like the cleanliness and the overall look of these two floor mats. So now that we have these floor mats clean, I am going to be waiting. Well, I'm going to do these soon. I just want to make sure that I show you guys how to clean the fabric ones as well. So right here on this side, we have our fabric floor mat. Just going to move this rubber one a little bit so you guys can see. Now, these floor mats, obviously they don't have much going on. There's not really a whole lot of grime, definitely not much that you can tell from. But in order for you to just give this a nice general little clean, I usually like going with a product like Fabric Clean. Now, I mentioned that these floor mats, they're really not dirty at all, which is great for us. However, we still can clean them. How do we clean that, or how do we kind of justify that it's cleaned? Well, the great thing about Fabric Clean is that it's a citrus-based product. So if you ever want to deodorize your interior, using a product like Fabric Clean, you can use it to kind of kill any kind of odor bacteria that's lingering in your carpets. Now, I'll show you guys just how to use it very quickly, very effectively, without you having to do much work at all. So what I'm going to do here is I have my Fabric Clean here diluted to a 20:1 ratio. Now I use this ratio for general purpose cleaning. So what I mean by general purpose is exactly this, what you're looking at. So it's not dirty at all. We're not going for a heavy deep clean. This is more so just kind of like a quick spot clean. And the way I like to use it, grab your Fabric Clean, spray a light little coat onto the surface. And we're not going crazy with the product. We're just spritzing a nice little mist on there. And then we grab a nifty detailing brush. Now I'm using this brush just kind of exfoliate any kind of loose dirt, debris, and just to make sure that we get the product thoroughly worked into the surface. And whenever you're using the brush like this on your fabric floor mats, you can go up and down, left and right. Doesn't necessarily matter the motion, just so as long as you're working the fibers of the carpet completely. Now, once you gave your carpet a quick little, I guess, scrub, you can grab yourself a yellow workhorse towel and simply buff off any excess, any kind of dirt or grime that's embedded into the surface. And like I mentioned, this also helps destroy any kind of odor bacteria trapped within your fabric seats. So for you guys that are detailers, you know, if you guys are ever faced with a car that smells, you know, very much like smoke, you know, the owner was a smoker, you know, one of the best ways to deal with that smell is to give the entire interior a deep clean using a citrus-based cleaning product such as Fabric Clean, especially on the fabrics. So just like that, I'm pretty much done. Like I mentioned, there's not a whole lot to this just because it's not really dirty at all. We're pretty much done there, and we can just wrap it up there and we're all good to go. And just to kind of add a little bit of style points, if you're ever doing this as a business, you can go ahead and kind of scrub your carpets in different motions so that you have this nice little pattern. It looks much more presentable, especially if you're a business. It definitely adds a nice little flair aspect to when you deliver your ride. So that pretty much wraps it up for the floor mats. I showed you guys how to clean the rubber floor mats and the carpet floor mats as well. And you can also use the same exact cleaning technique for the fabric floor mats for the carpet as well. And just because those floor mats were on the carpet, we don't necessarily have to do too much at all. So I'm gonna do the exact same process, give it a light little spritz, give it a light scrub, wipe it down with the microfiber towel, and we're good to go. And before we do that, we just wanna make sure that we vacuum that because we are all done with the interior. So we're just gonna give it a vacuum, clean the carpets, place the floor mats, and then be back with you guys for the final touches. All right guys, so now that we're pretty much entirely done with the interior detail, all we really have to do now is enjoy our clean and spray some air freshener. So the way I like to use my air freshener is I like to start off by not turning on the wipers. Now that the wipers are off, now you're ready to spray your air freshener. Now, the best way that I found to use it is to spray it directly onto your fabrics or your carpet. So the choice of air freshener today is gonna be our Black Frost. Now I did ask AJ what his grandpa's favorite scent was, and he said Black Frost 100% all the way, so that's what we're doing. So I'm gonna grab the air freshener and I'm gonna spray just a few spritz. I like to give about 3 on each side. And then what you wanna do now is turn on your AC and then have it on recirculation. So then that way it circulates air from the bottom of your car and it circulates it throughout your vehicle. So that way you have the best use of your air freshener. Oh man, I smell it already. It smells amazing. Then in that way, the air pretty much circulates throughout your car. So it pretty much pulls the nice scent from down there. It filters through your AC system, killing any kind of odor bacteria within your AC system. And it distributes it throughout your vehicle so that you're not there trying to spray every little square inch of your interior. Now that's one of the best ways, the way I like to maximize air fresheners and the way they're gonna last you the longest. So now all you have to do is pretty much enjoy and bask in the essence of a freshly clean ride and the nice, beautiful smell of Black Frost. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give this video a like. If you guys learned something new today, comment down below. If there's still something that we haven't covered in this video that you would still like to learn, leave it in the comment section down below and we'll make a video just for you, just for that. So my name is Joey. This is Chemical Guys Detail Garage. I'll see you guys next time.